Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Nirupama. So, thank you for accepting our invite for your guest lecture at IIIT Pune. Nirupama works as a manager for Samsung Semiconductor India R&D Center, Bangalore. She is currently managing the Integrated Service Management functional area of the core IT team. Her work at Samsung involves establishment of IT strategy based on business strategy and thus contributing to management. She is also responsible for validating key IT projects, their architecture, and tracking developmental milestones. She has done her BTech graduation in Electronics and Telecommunication and has pursued her executive postgraduate diploma in management in information systems. She has worked with HP for 2 years, CenturyLink for over a year, and has been working with Samsung for over 5 years now. From being a proud woman in technology and a working mother, she likes to take new challenges and risk. She believes courage does not roar. Sometimes it is just trying again and again, and you are halfway there already. Balancing work and life has made Nirupama even more strong and her dreams more realistic. She is an avid reader and enjoys gardening in her spare time. With that, I welcome you, Nirupama, to our family and please share your lessons with us. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yashoda. Well, let me start with this. When I was in college studying engineering, I was offered opinions by many of my classmates that I should go for a people facing or a people managing job role. I had never imagined myself in such a role years later. 10 years down the line, here I am, engaging with employees, management, and my team on a daily basis. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Nirupama Rout, Manager SSIR IT team. First of all, I would like to take the opportunity to thank IIIT Pune Director, Professor Anupam Shukla, and my sincere thanks to Yashoda Bhargava for recognizing me as the speaker for this emerging topic and giving me a chance to interact with bright students like you. I can never forget the first time my current manager, upon recommendation, interviewed me for the current role. That was, in fact, a day to remember because I could clearly relate my personal traits, my interests, my strengths, and my passion along with my career. I'm currently managing the integrated service management area of SSIR IT, and my daily tasks involves collaborating with team members, stakeholders, managers, business units, and the management in turn. So before we start the session, I would really express my gratitude for all the students and everyone in this meeting for joining us on a weekend. I really want to thank each one of you for that. And having said that, I want the session to be really interactive. So I request each one of you, in case you have any opinions, any questions, to make this discussion even more interactive. So let me first try to understand what you all think about people management, the topic people management. So let me hear from all of you, like what idea do you have about that? So when you hear this term, what comes into your mind at first? People management.
Ma'am, according to me, people management is somewhat related to overseeing the training and means other person's development motivation in management of the employees, you can say, or the other peoples in which sector you are.
Okay, that's a good start. That is how uh, you understand the term people management. But people management is not only managing people, but overall management of the assets, traits, styles, results, personalities, everything that revolves around people. So that's a good try. And I would like to hear more from the students.
Understanding and helping. I mean,
Hi, Madidi.
Managing the resources of them. Managing the resources, like the skills, who knows what and who can do what, and segregating it.
Yes. Okay. That is also one of the aspects of people management. Glad that few of you actually attempted to understand or what you actually understand about people management. So, as you all know, people can be unpredictable. And sometimes, if you cannot work or understand them, or you're not equipped properly, then that actually can lead to a failure or a threat in real life. This is a very, very broad topic. You cannot complete it in an hour or two, but I will try to share some experiences, some logic, some tips and advices that I personally have learned through my career as a people manager. This broad topic or skill set actually defines a set of practices that a manager follows, or especially you can say leader follows, for managing any aspect around people, like training them, assessing their employees, managing the deadlines when there is a task given to the people, handling conflicts, and also handling difficult conversations with employees. In total, it can be used to check the performance of the employees. From a team perspective, it is helpful to motivate the team, review their individual performance, analyze an employee's strength, weakness, and also it is important that the manager should understand the personal aspirations of the employee. Particular slide, which I've kept very simple and minimal, you can see it says that organizations' assets are employees. And why do you think that we call people as assets when people are not tangible? People are tangible and fixed, and we call them assets. That's because the traits, the skills, the qualities that are associated with an employee are considered as assets. Those are the traits that determine the success of an organization, and that definitely that's the reason why organizations say that the workforce is the greatest asset. If you see on the right hand side, it says what is people management. So it is a very clear distribution of their work, their behavior, and how employees engagement happens and the growth. So these are, I have tried to distribute them to very, very simple aspects of people management. And I will explain to you on all these things in details a little later. So, Ishita, can we move to the next slide? Yeah, sure. Okay. So when you say people management, it is important that you should be able to ask them or attract them towards the work, the task that has been assigned to them. One has to also educate on the tasks that are given, train, motivate, empower them, and reward them accordingly. So for this, the manager is supposed to have appropriate skills and learning so that he or she may be able to ask their employees to be able to work as required. So I'll go to the next slide once again. No, the next one. Yeah. Okay. So, we will come to the attributes later. One other thing that is very important in people management is to work together as a total workforce and bring in the successful or the required outcome. And for this, as a people manager, you need to have certain attributes. I have listed only 5 of them, these being the most important according to me, that you must have in order to be a good people manager. So you're supposed to have good communication. Why this is important? Because for you to be able to interact with the employees, make them do or get the result or the desired outcome, you must have your message sent across to your employees clearly. If you do have a good communication, you will be able to explain them what you are looking for, how they can achieve it, and whether they have achieved it or not. So, for being a good people manager, you must be able to send the message precisely across. And only then you can get the flow started. The second one is active listening. It is possible that most of the times, I will answer your questions. Give me a second. I cannot have the chat window simultaneously. Okay, I will take the questions at the end if that is okay with you. And you can post your questions and we will discuss that at the end of the slide. Okay, so having said about active listening, it is possible that most of the times we do hear and do not listen, or probably we hear just to respond or react, but we do not listen to understand. So when you do that, when you engage with the other person, you listen to them, you ask questions, you rephrase, and do not interrupt, only then you have the gist of the message with you. The third important attribute to be a good people manager is being adaptable. This being a very, very important attribute in any sphere of life, it is very, very important as a people manager. You all know that the trends keep changing, technology keeps upgrading, and there are changing circumstances and environment around us. So, along with the rolling ball, it is important that you roll along with it because you know that change is the only constant. You will have to pick up what's around you, what's going on in the surroundings, and thus the people manager must learn new skills, new behaviors. Whenever there is a situation it demands, the people manager has to go ahead with a very flexible mindset. Only this will lead to an overall growth. The next attribute, which is primary to any people manager, is being a team player. You cannot work solely. You will have to work together with the people around you. Not only you will have to be responsible and reliable for any kind of help or support that your team needs, you will be also able to get help from your team. So it's together that you grow, together you work on any kind of assignment, any kind of task. The last attribute, or the one of the most important attributes, would be being accountable. Whenever you're managing people, there are circumstances that you might have to answer for your subordinates, for your peers. And to do this, you should be answerable. You should take the responsibility that whatever results, whatever assignments have been assigned, you were the one taking the ownership. So you should be able to take a responsibility for any kind of result or any kind of outcome that may come up within your team. So talking about these attributes, they are very key, or they actually frame what kind of a people manager you are. The different styles of working, the different set of priorities, set of goals that you may have, your team may have. So it's important that you work together, you find out how exactly you're going to proceed further. So the next slide. So these are the few learnings that I had as a first-time people manager. And this is true because as a people manager, you will have a lot of tasks on your schedule, on your calendar. You might have to do them simultaneously or one after the other, but you should be able to complete it. So the first and foremost is setting clear goals and clear objectives and realistic goals. Why I say clear objectives is many a times when there are several tasks lined in front of us, we might end up starting them together, we might end up multitasking without knowing what we actually require. So you must first understand for this particular task what is the end outcome or the results that I'm looking for. And yes, your goals should be real. It should not be something which is not achievable. It must be something that you know can be achieved. So, whenever you have goals, only then you will be able to accomplish the results. You must focus and you must know the direction that you can reach the goals. You might have heard a lot of times that be flexible with your path on reaching to your goals. This is because the goals should be fixed, but how you reach them can be any way. You can get innovative with how you reach your goals. The next one is prioritizing tasks. Having working on a lot of tasks together, you might end up procrastinating. You might end up trying to work on them without knowing which one should be an urgent, an important task, and which one should not. So there are several techniques that we use to understand which of these should be prioritized, which should be taken up immediately. In the IT sector, it becomes really important to deliver any result, any outcome in a time that the stakeholder asks for. So you just cannot take your own sweet time. You will have to understand which task has to be done first and which one has to be lined up second. So you will have to invest your energy into what matters the most and to whom it matters, who's the stakeholder, and what is going to save maximum amount of time for you. This will not only make you productive, but you will understand to get started with the most difficult task first. That is not what we usually do. We try to push the difficult task towards the end and try to start with the simple tasks, irrelevant or irrespective of knowing how much importance it holds. So, prioritizing tasks is very important as a people manager. So, I personally have several tools and several sheets where I do maintain the tasks that are lined up for the day. And I wouldn't say it's kind of a to-do list, but it definitely has a project details, the milestones, who are the stakeholders, who can complete the task and how, if there is any help required, and this is how I prioritize my tasks. Next is discussing concerns. In this journey, as a people manager, it is not easy to work with people who are different from each other but work in the same team. So there could be a possibility where you might end up with problems, with hindrances. But aren't these problems going to slow down your progress? In that case, you will have to plan and you will have to see how to overcome this. And this needs a lot of understanding from each other, cooperating with each other, and only when you discuss these concerns, there will be solutions. So one has to discuss these problems in order to overcome them. Delegate task to a skilled team member. I feel this is one of the most important learning that I had in my career here because there are times when you may not be skilled at a particular skill set. Maybe you haven't worked on it before, or maybe you are not an expert at it, but you do have to work with that skill set. It is possible that your team member might be better skilled at it, or maybe an expert. So, in this kind of situation, do not hesitate to take help from your subordinates or peers who can do the task better. You must understand and accept that no one is good at everything. You may be a knave at this particular skill set. So you will have to try and delegate this task to a team member. Not only will you be benefited in achieving the goal sooner or faster, but the other person who got this opportunity working on behalf of you will ensure he or she has a professional growth waiting for them. So, delegate tasks, ask them to help you whenever you need any kind of assistance. The next one is holding regular meetings, especially in this work from home situation in the pandemic when you actually have to work from home. Team collaboration becomes really, really difficult. You wouldn't be able to reach out to team members like you were able to do in office, and collaboration becomes really, really tough. So holding regular meetings, I mean, in this situation, I would say virtual one, uh, it helps a lot. I remember when we started off a year back working from home, we used to chart out action items. We used to make a list of things to be discussed as a host. And then we used to take these topics one after the other so that there was a discussion initiated. It informs each member of the team because having working from home, you are not facing your team members. And this was actually helping build awareness. During those meetings, we tried to exchange our opinions, our thoughts, and we recommended solutions whenever we had that uh, expertise. So, this work from home situation has even made it mandatory that we hold regular meetings, be in touch with the team members so that we can do things together. So, these are my learnings. I would also like to understand from you if you think uh, any other tip or advice can help as a first time people manager, which I will again discuss at the end of the session. Ishoda, let's move to the next slide. Yeah. I have kept this slide really simple. Um, the reason being there are several tips and advices that I could give, but to keep the session really short, interesting, and interactive, I will discuss on these three things. The first one that I've mentioned is lead with compassion, integrity, and curiosity. People management is not only about managing the people, but you must be able to lead as a leader. But that should involve compassion, integrity, and curiosity. I strongly believe that whenever you are interacting with your team members, you will have to be compassionate. You must be able to take them along with you. There is a reason why I believe that compassion is really important for this job role. We all know that we are different from each other, personally, professionally, and that makes it inevitable that you must be kind to each other. No matter what is the situation, what kind of a work you do, you must respect each other and you must be empathetic. So, sooner or later, people around you will understand and recognize you. So, the next one is integrity. Integrity as a word refers to meaning knowing the difference between right and wrong. So you must do the right thing at the right time as a people manager, and you must be able to weigh the various options that you have. You should do the right thing in the absence of your team members or even when nobody is watching. So your inner moral compass should be functional. Next is the curiosity. Many a times I have been told that I was very curious since my childhood, asking too many questions. I know that could be intimidating at times, but that is even safer and better than assuming things. When you work with several people, for any kind of scenario, you might end up assuming. Do remember that never assume, never. Only believe on facts, only believe on what you see. You talk to the person and get the facts, but do not assume. So you will have to get curious, you will have to ask questions, get the answers. So what is going to happen is, if you assume from the beginning, at the end you might have some facts that do not match your assumption, and you will end up apologizing a lot. So instead of that, talk to them, interact with them, ask questions, and then go ahead. The next would be to be tough on issues and not people. Not every journey is smooth and simple. It is possible that the road may not be smooth, it has a lot of obstacles, hindrances. So, when you have such a situation, try to respond, not react. You will have to be tough on issues, not people. Though people are responsible for it, try to understand what led to that issue. Whether do you have a solution to work on the issue? Can you make any suggestions? Remember that when you're working with people, do not get personal. It is not a personal affair. You are working for a successful organizational role or result, and so is the other person. So try to understand the situation. Do not be tough on anyone working with you or for you. Having said that, you will have to visualize the outcome that the process has. Do not visualize the person who is doing it. Visualize the mindset, or have a mindset for the outcome. You have to keep in your mind, imagine in your mind what this process is actually resulting to. So at times, you will have to understand and accept that it is not important to be right, but it is important to get it right. Next is acknowledging queries or any kind of dialogue. When you're working with several people, you might work with several types of personalities of people. So at times, you might have situations when you may not get the required answers from people, and thus you will be stalled. You may not be able to proceed forward. I personally have made this as a thumb rule that no matter what, whether I am of help or not, I will acknowledge. So no matter it's an email, it's a chat, it's a call, it's any kind of meeting, I will try to acknowledge the queries through dialogue or any medium. But I will not be in a situation where I hear the question and I do not reply. I should be answerable and approachable. So as a people manager, you should be able to acknowledge. This will result in mutual trust. The person reaching out to you will be able to believe for any situations in the future. So now, when you're working with your team or people who understand that they can trust you, they will also understand your good intentions. So it's important that you have good intentions for the outcomes. The next one is making the right decisions for the right reasons. There will be situations where you will have a lot of options. You will have to weigh the options, as in which one should be chosen or preferred over the other one. So you will have to look inside. You will have to introspect. You will have to ask questions. Why am I doing this? Is it the right thing to do? Is it the right way to do? Will this give me my desired outcome? So you will have to build self-awareness. Only when you understand yourself from within, you will be able to understand others. This might take time to develop, but trust me, this will become such a trait as a people manager that you will stop complaining, you will stop blaming or pointing at others. And when you are aware of yourself or what's going on inside you will be able to make your choices better. Every now and then, As a people manager, you will have to come across situations where you will have to choose between options. That being really, really difficult. But you will have to ensure that at the end, when you are weighing options, you have to take care of both parties, of yourself and the other party opposite to you. You must ensure that there is a win-win situation and both the parties are benefiting. So here is where you will have to consider the consequences also. There are several times where you have to do have options. Not each of them may be a favorable one, but one consequence leads to another. So you will have to consider which one is most beneficial, less destructive, gives the desired outcome, or is close to the desired outcome. And that's when you will be able to make the right decision. So these are a few tips and advices that I feel could be helpful for you in case in the future you have got to manage people. It is not easy to work with people around you with different or various personal and professional skill sets. There are times that you may not be able to find what you're looking for various reasons. So this could come handy to you, and this has definitely come handy to me. So Yashoda, let's move to the next slide. Yeah. So let's not move to the next slide. Let's be on this slide itself. I know I have spoken for quite a long time. As young students, I want to understand what do you feel about this topic? And I have 10 infographics on your screen right now. And I want each of you to voice out. So in case you understand or you know that this could be a contributing factor to people management or the topic of people management, then let's start doing that. So the first picture that you can see, I want you all to attempt and tell me what is that contributes to people management, starting with the first picture.
Diversity.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Diversity.
Okay, anyone else?
Ma'am, equality for everyone, not regarding their means disability or their clothes and all type things.
Okay. What else?
Considering everyone's opinion.
Okay. So the first picture mostly talks about including or involving all the people around you. You do not have to be selective. You will have to make all people around you as participants. All of them have the right to participate because each one of them brings some kind of value to the organization, to the team, and definitely to you. Each one has the ability to bring about creative ideas, innovation, and end of the day, including everyone, results in learning from each other. We actually have a lot to learn from each of us. And the next is it increases cooperation. So the next picture, can you tell me what exactly is that? The second one?
Lateral thinking, different point, considering different point of views,
Okay.
tackling a problem in different ways.
Yeah. So how is the point of view important? Is it about my point of view? Is it about others' point of view? Well, it actually means both.
Actually,
It should be a
moving
mutual,
all over mutual.
yeah, it should be a mutual one. So not only it is important that you express yourself, you should be able to understand the expression of others. So you have to keep an open mindset, change or have different approaches, and you should be able to understand each other's perspective. Only then you will be able to manage people better, and people can in turn understand you. How about the third picture? What do you think are they trying to do in this?
Discussing about the critical thinking.
Okay, but you can see the posture. This is something that this is the posture that we usually do not hold. They're trying to be very formal.
They're
Can anyone
arguing,
say
ma'am.
what they're trying to do?
They're arguing.
Sorry?
Arguing.
Uh, no, it's not.
Arguing.
Yeah, I heard you, but it's not that what they're doing.
Got it.
So they're trying to be very formal. They're trying to please each other. Let me tell you that if you are a people pleaser, then you may not be very successful as a people manager. I'll tell you why. When you try to please everyone, which you should not, but if you try to do, you cannot say no to anyone. And you will try to hide your mistakes. You do not want to talk about mistakes. You agree when you actually don't want to agree. You try to avoid fights, discussions that are not very pleasing. And end of the day, you want to be in the good books of everyone. So if you are a people pleaser, then you may not be able to make good decisions because they are being biased by being a people pleaser. So try not to be a people pleaser if you are a people manager. Can you guess the fourth one?
Take the right decision.
I'm sorry, could you be a little louder? I think there's some trouble with my audio. I can't hear you all very well.
Taking the right decision.
No, anyone else?
Always welcome others with a smiley face, proper expressions.
Okay, not really. But where do you see such kind of a form or
It's
such
a
kind
Feedback.
of
green,
a
it's a
scene?
green light signal. Yes, accepting everyone. Welcome.
Okay. But
Feedback.
where do you see such kind of a submission happening?
Feedback
In,
forms.
in,
It's
in just
feedback
in
form.
general, like where do you see
Taking
such
the
kind
review.
of a questionnaire?
Ma'am, usually in supermarkets where they ask how we
Right,
felt
when they
about
are
their
trying
service.
to take your feedback.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So as a people manager, you should always have your ears open for active feedback. They necessarily need not be positive. They could be criticism. They could be any kind of feedback, but that is what will actually help you grow. So whenever you just try to remember this picture, as a people manager, whenever you're talking to the other person, he or she must be able to give you one of these. So either it's good, not good, great. In that way, you will be able to understand that not only the outcome that you're giving is helping others or not, or whether it is a desired outcome. So you will have to take feedbacks and criticism equally. How about the fifth one?
Farsightedness and vision.
Okay, vision. What else? What exactly the person is trying to do here as a people manager? What
Keep
is he
an
keen
eye.
about?
Yes, ma'am.
He's observing. So as a people manager, okay, thinking ahead, okay. As a people manager, you will have to observe things. You have to be keen on what's going on around you in your surroundings. And when you are observing, in real life, you are neutral. You don't give out your ideas or suggestions or any any sides of the situation. You're just observing, you're just neutral. When you are observing things around you, you are checking the different angles to it. You are checking the different way people are working, the patterns and styles they follow. And end of the day, you're looking for the results that they give out. So you must be a good observer. The next one, the sixth picture, what is it trying to say?
Try to connect each and every person and to create a synergy.
Yeah. So being a people manager, you will have to constantly keep connecting with your employees. So only when you connect, you will understand what is the requirement. Remember, whenever you have strong social connections, only then the employees are happier. So you must try and connect with as many employees in many ways as possible. They must feel that their voices are being heard. So you must have an open communication alignment. Having said this, it has to be through all levels of communication across the organization. So let's say your subordinates, your peers should be able to reach you, should be able to reach the higher management through you, and that is what is important. Connection. Making connections is really essential in managing people. What about the next one? It's kind of funny, but what do you think that picture means?
Time management.
Yes, it's part of it.
Yeah,
But what exactly are we looking for
people
from
generally
each other
waste.
with respect to time?
People generally waste time. We need to use it wisely. We need
Yeah.
to.
So we are talking about respecting each other's time. Not only you will have to be punctual, you will have to be on time on most of the things, you will have to also respect each other's time. When you value your time, your team members' time, and all the employees' time, only then you will be able to balance your personal life and your professional life. Else, it might happen that each of these aspects of your life might creep into the other aspect. How about the eighth one? What are they trying to do?
Acknowledge others' ideas, sharing them.
Okay, and where does it happen?
Brainstorming sessions.
Yes, exactly. So in brainstorming sessions, it has been really, really beneficial for everyone to have a free thinking. And this free thinking, as you know, stimulates creativity. And the best part of brainstorming sessions are you're not being judged. So this happens to be a very important technique that people managers use in order to understand everyone in a real short time. And this is very effective in managing team. How about the next one?
Fruitful discussion.
Okay. Okay, so this is more about having one-on-one discussions. As a manager, there could be times when you might interact with some of the subordinates or team members, but you will not be able to reach each and every one. Maybe because of work you have not reached them, or for some reason you haven't been able to interact with them. When you have one-on-one meetings, the employee is rest assured that they are being heard. They are able to voice out their feelings, whatever concerns they have, whatever feedback they have, and one-to-one meetings are the best way to share your feelings or your tasks. Also, this is professionally very, very helpful because you're able to update on what you're doing right now. You're able to update. You can also bring in concerns why you're not able to achieve the outcome. So one-on-one meetings are great techniques which is used by people managers to understand an employee even better. So employees look at this technique for building rapport, for setting goals, and also being able to measure their progress. So they can check where they stand, why they have not been able to reach that goal. How about the next picture, the last one?
Supporting
Sorry?
supporting them.
Okay. So a bigger picture. How does a manager look at it? So it's
Uh,
about building relationships. Sorry, Vishal?
I want to say that it's related to joining hands with the all others, because all the work can be done only by having many hands, skilled
Yeah.
hands.
Yes, it's more about building work relationships. So imagine each employee has different types of interests, but they all have to achieve an outcome. What do? They will have to share their interests. They will have to express their thoughts while work, and the people manager has to think about all the employees and their interests at the same time. So, having said that, it's more about taking care of them personally and professionally, so that having a relationship with them through work or apart from work. So these are the contributing factors that help a people manager to move ahead faster, better, and being effective in the role that they have. So I would like to take up the questions now in case you have any.
Yes, ma'am. Is HR and people management same or they are different?
No, they are quite a little different from each other. HR actually revolves around people, about managing them, but need not be working with them directly. Whereas people management, it requires that you work with that person directly or indirectly, and you're having to reach out to them uh, some part of the day or the other. So they are directly or indirectly responsible for your goals. However, it's not the same for the
I
HR.
mean, the next level
This
of
is different.
HR,
Sorry?
the next level of HR.
You could say it could be a subset that you could say. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Uh, Ma'am,
Yeah.
sometimes some employees are there that usually stick to their points and don't move. Means they are like uh, stubborn. They just want their work to be done, and they usually argue with the seniors. So how that senior manager handle with those persons?
Yes, this kind of situation is not common, but cannot be avoided because we work with people with different personalities. So, whenever there is such a situation, there are several techniques that the manager can apply. One technique could be bringing both of them, person one or two, in case it is between two people, or in case it is with everyone, then that person who is maybe um, very stubborn or is not flexible with the way he or she is working could be brought in for a discussion with the manager. Here, the manager can actually hear the employee why exactly he or she has not been flexible so far. It could be a very, very difficult situation for both of them, but a discussion could actually result in few more information about the situation. So depending on what is actually triggering that, it can be taken care of. So at times it happens that many of them are actually sticking to a particular process. They just want to work that way. But it is not how it works in the real situation. it is important that he or she has to be flexible in the way they are working, and the end result or outcome is important. So here the manager can actually instill some motivation, some kind of discipline and encouragement to the employee, suggesting why he could work the other way, why he could start working together with others. So it is important that the people manager should understand here the concern and advise accordingly.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Someone had question in chat box, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I have joined over the phone.
No,
Not able to see the questions. If you can read
I'll
it
help
out.
you. Yeah, I'll help you. uh, so, mm, ma'am, would you like to share your real life experience? So, Prakhar, what exactly want you ask?
Ma'am, like,
he specified in the next message.
Real life experience with how I started managing, how I started working.
He says in a difficult situation while assigning some task or getting something done by somebody.
Okay. All right. Well, there has been situations because when you are working in a team, especially you will have people working with you of different ages. They could be your seniors and juniors. They could be of different interests. They could be of different personality. There was a situation when I had to head a project, take care of a project, while me being the youngest one. It was very difficult situation where I had to direct or ask people older than me in terms of age and experience to accomplish some tasks. Well, here, what I did is I charted out a plan. I reached out to them that this is why I'm reaching them, this is my plan, and they are the actual owners of the tasks. So I was just trying to expedite or take care of the milestones where each of these contributors were, contributing in a significant way. So I tried explaining um, those, team members that what I was trying to do is for the team, for the end result, and this was not a personal affair. I was not reaching them for my personal benefits. So I initiated a dialogue. I first had a discussion. I called them up and I told them why I'm looking for the help. So when I charted out the whole plan and tried to explain them that what kind of importance they hold in the whole project, and without that, that contributor, I wasn't able to move forward. I had tried to understand their concerns, and I also tried to resolve the concern first before taking help, because maybe that concern was existing for a really long time. So I first helped them resolve the concern, and I was able to take them along with me in the project.
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, how to react if they are suffering from any personal problem? Uh, the subordinates or the people we need to manage.
The people manager or the other person?
The people manager.
See, that's what you develop over time. You cannot bring in your personalities in the way of your work. You will have to understand that in case you have some trouble yourself, some issues, you will have to first resolve it. You cannot react to each and every situation. There are times when you will have very pleasant people or situations, and there could be the other way also. So you always have to pause whenever you confront any kind of a situation. You do not put in your personality first. You will have to pause, you'll have to think, how do I respond in such a way
I'm
that this
actually
is not
saying,
going to affect our relationship, It is not going to affect the work. You're not trying to please the person here, but you're trying to nullify the effect of that, of the personality that is going to come in your way.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you be louder?
I said yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yashoda, are there any more questions in the chat box?
Not that I can see.
Okay.
Anything on time management?
Yeah.
Time management.
Time management. Okay. What I have started doing is recently there was a month ago when I ended up having a lot of tasks on my hand, and I wasn't able to definitely manage the time because each of these tasks were to be worked on high priority. I kind of tried to plan those, but during the day they came up unexpected and I wasn't able to plan it. So what I try to do is use some techniques and tools that can make me more productive and also help me chart out a plan. So there was this tool called Pomodoro. I'm not sure if you have tried using it, but it is a tool that helps you manage your time, your projects, your tasks better. So you have this timer of 25 or 30 minutes. It's actually 30 minutes with a 5 minutes break. So I always use this tool. I turn it on and it asks you not to move for the next 20 minutes. So you will have to work on your task, starting with the most difficult one or starting with the one that has been pending for a really long time. And in this way, you will be focused, you will be having all your energy invested into this particular task. So here, not only I was able to achieve my results, I was able to manage my time better. So this is just an example of one of these tools that was assisting me plan my day better. There are many such tools that will help you manage your time. One other thing that has helped me a lot as a person, as a people manager, is planning your day ahead. You cannot start planning your making your to-do list the moment you start your work. Most of the times, it is suggested that you do it a previous day. Let's say you are ending the day today, and you have some tasks, meetings, uh, projects lined up which are critical for the next day. I used to make a plan, as in which one was should be the first to be on my plate the moment I start working. This actually saved a lot of time and lot of productive time I was able to manage. So these are some of the techniques that I used personally.
How to be not nice or how to be considerate, and what's the difference between being considerate or being nice or a people pleaser?
Okay, when you say you are being nice, I'm not sure the context or what exactly you're trying to mean.
I
But
mean,
I
generally the
don't think
people
you have to be the other way. If you have to get some work, you have to work with people. You don't have to be the other way. You can
uh,
always be pleasant. You can always be
that's
nice.
not, I mean, being a people pleaser and being considerate, what is the difference between them, or anything?
Yeah, it's very different. When you are a people pleaser, you try to modify the situation as well at times because you're trying to please the other person. So you will end up changing things around it. You will try to make sure that end of the day I'm good with the other person. So you might end up changing facts. You might end up changing the situation to make it look good. But when you are considerate, the end result or goal does not depend on what you think of the other person. Let me just tell you. For example, there is a situation. For example, okay, there is a training session coming up, and you are a team of 30 or 40, and you are given the responsibility of choosing um, 5 people in your team who can be trained. This being a very great opportunity, and this skill is required for all the members of the team. So, what would you do? You would be considerate here. So, you would consider that you must accept the fact that even though all of my team members need this training, it is important for me to consider those options only, or which team member actually needs it most. So, no matter that this skill is required by every one of them, but you will find a way and you will be able to jot down only those members who actually need it right now. So you could be considerate here. You can explain your team members that okay, we are considering your request to take up the training, but it will be in the next batch or near future. So here you're being nice, but you're not trying to please the other person, because if you were trying to please, you would have given the opportunity irrespective of he or she deserving it at that particular time. But when you are being considerate, you are being you are trying to consider only those options which is actually right, and not trying to please everyone. So I think I could explain
Like
clearly
we
the situation.
like we need to work for the goal, not for making a person happy or not.
Exactly. You should think of the end result and outcome. What is best for everyone? What is best for you? It is not that you are working with the person, so you have to make the person happy. Well, you could be nice to them, but it is not your task to make them or keep them happy. End of the day, you will have to explain them what is the fact, what is the real situation, and you could still have the options open for them. So probably you could take them into a next batch of training, and still give them an opportunity.
Okay, thank you for the answers.
Okay. So one other thing I would like to say, that as aspiring people managers, in case in the future you ever get a chance to deal with people, work with people directly, not an individual contributor, but having to work with a team, it is very, very important that you are able to manage your time and able to manage stress, because when you are working with a multiple a lot of team members interacting with several people throughout the day, you will have to understand how to manage time better each day. This not only results in stress, so you will have to find out ways to de-stress. So these two skills I feel is very important people skills that you must have if you are aspiring to be a people manager. And never miss a chance to appreciate. Appreciation always goes a long way. If ever you have a team member, anyone that you are working with has done an incredible job, do not hesitate to appreciate, because that will actually take your relationship and the other person really higher. So I'm sure that this session will help you students, young students like you, who are in the process of transitioning from college to corporate. Uh, it is not only important that you read your subjects well, but you also must be prepared for a rewarding and challenging career. I hope this session helped you get an idea what is people management all about. I try to keep it as simple as possible without giving the technical details or a lot into the methodology that we use to do this. But I'm sure this might have given you a brief idea on how people management works, or what does a people management does. So just remember that every individual, each person is different, is unique, and hence their way of working, way of achieving results, or managing their own tasks or other people's tasks could be very different. And that is what a people manager does. So always be assertive, keep moving forward, and stay strong.
Okay, thank you, Nirupama. Thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to know from students if they have any remaining questions. This is a good time to ask them. Any lingering questions or any doubts?
I guess there are no questions for now.
Okay. So, Nirupama, personally, I found your lecture and your sharings quite insightful. In fact, I really liked when you said that it's important not to be right, but to get it right. I think most of the times we often forget this, and as it becomes a personal power struggle, and not only in professional world, but also when we're working in team projects. In fact, just first year students have already completed group projects, and third year students are yet to venture into that journey. So I am definitely very positive that your insights and lessons will help them move forward in a very optimistic manner in their projects. And thank you so much for taking out time on Sunday to talk to us. It really means a lot to us. And I also know that this is just a beginning of our relationship with IIIT Pune and yours, and there will be many more sessions in which we will be very happy to invite you again to IIIT Pune. Thank you
Sure,
so much.
thank you so much, Yashoda. Actually, it was a pleasure interacting with students directly and being able to share my experiences and some thoughts about my work. So I will take this opportunity to thank all of you again for participating and allowing me to share my thoughts. Thank you so much, and you all have a nice day.
Thank you, Nirupama. See you again.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Bye.